Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 5 of Animation U. Today's guest is an OC lover, streetwear fashionista, and egg enthusiast, Kim Quach.
Hello, everyone. As Ryan has already introduced me, I'm Kim Quach. I'm a storyboard artist, a character designer, and an illustrator. And I guess what he's interviewing me here for, I graduated from California State University of Fullerton.
Yes, well, I gotta say, one of the most concise openings I've ever had recording this. Thank you. So, to start things off, we want to get to know Kim. Where did you grow up? I want to know your inspirations, what inspired you to, like, kind of get into this industry.
I feel like okay, wait, hold on. Where I grew up in Southern California, like Little Saigon, like literally like, in the heart of it. Surrounded by a bunch of like Asian people all the time, mostly Vietnamese people, because I am Vietnamese, of course. That's where my family grew up, and I'd say my what inspired me or what got me into this industry, I guess, is like it's kind of a funny story because I didn't know for the longest time like what I wanted to do with my art just yet because it's like I feel like with a lot of like young artists we usually just end up being like, oh, we're like in fandom, we're like drawing like funny fan art and stuff like that, and just like, well, we're gonna do something with our art eventually. And I feel like during, I think maybe like 2013, 14, there was like a lot more like talks recently of like animation industry stuff is like became a lot more common in like these kind of like spaces. And I always became a lot more interested in like, I guess like beforehand, I was interested in like comics, wanting to make comics. And I guess like that leewayed into like storyboarding because like they're both like a sequential art in a way, but in like different kinds of mediums. You know what I mean? And that's why I started getting more into like storyboarding. But I didn't really quite understand what like the storyboarding or like animation industry was just yet until I got more into like college and I got more of a thorough understanding of the animation industry.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, to quickly hark back to the 2013, 2014 boom of people becoming interested in, like, storyboard artists. I
Hmm.
remember, like, way back when, like freshman me was like looking at Tumblr and remember
Yeah.
that Steven Universe was a huge thing. It was like a storyboard
Hmm.
driven show.
Hmm.
And then like I was like, oh my god, I want to be a storyboard artist too. And then like I tried it in college and I was like, man, this shit hard. It really is.
Dude, yeah, storyboarding is like so intensive. It's like at least it's like what I think is always really enjoyable about it, or at least like a little less daunting about it that a lot of people kind of like is that like each board is generally like very sketchy and stuff. So people are just like, oh, storyboarding is just like make a bunch of quick sketches, then you just move on. You don't even have to finish it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and then they're all like, well, you got to think about the shot choice, you got to think about everything, and like, are you on model and stuff like that.
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, at least like that's why there's like the roughs, and then you get to the cleaning stage, which is like we'll figure out the hard part where like it looks more accurate later.
Yeah, that's a problem for future me.
Hmm. That's how I live by.
Hell yeah. So did you I know you talked about like your origins, but like do you have any particular media that you were a fan of or like anybody on that staff that you were also a fan of that inspired you?
Oh man, I like this was probably like my one big fandom. I'm probably still my only fandom that I'm really like super into, but Homestuck actually.
Ah,
Um yeah. Yeah. Definitely during like those years of like 2011 and like onward from there, that was like the big boom of like Homestuck and like fandom on the internet. And like, can you really blame me? And I feel like I feel like okay, Homestuck was just like a really fun time for most people in general because it was just like it was a really how do I explain that it was just like a really creative boom for like creatives in general, not just like artists but like musicians, like voice actors and stuff like that. Then it like I feel like you don't really see that much of like diverse creativity in like fandoms nowadays, which is I thought like Homestuck was really cool. And I think Homestuck was also one of the leeways where I was just like I really wanted to get into comics, especially because like how Homestuck presented itself was very much like it was made in MS Paint or like supposedly and obviously they moved over to like Photoshop or something. But it was like it was just so loosely made And I think this is like definitely during like an era of like webcomics where like webcomics are very casual and it's like anyone could make like comics, you know what I mean? Which is why, that inspired me to get into like comics or like sequential art.
I see. So they baited you in. It's like, bro, it's easy. Come on, trust me.
Yeah, it's not so easy anymore now, is it? What was
Like,
that one like webtoon ad that was going around? It's like, oh, the nice little like side hustle. I'm like, webtoons, comics are not a side hustle. This shit
oh yeah,
hard.
they're talking about like, oh, we're here before the stream or whatever. When it's like its own
Mm-hmm.
thing. Very curious, very interesting webtoon. But
What's up?
I was like, wow, that's very interesting. You'd say that webtoon. Very, very weird.
Like, do you know the work that goes into it, Mr. Webtoon?
I'd like to talk to Mr. Webtoon, please, John Webtoon. But yeah, so I honestly I never really got into Homestuck. I've heard about it. I know a lot of people like it, but I never really understood what it was even about. I know it had something to
it's
do with like zodiacs.
it's like it's definitely a thing that kind of like either you do or you don't get into it because it's like it's a long and like complicated read. And to be honest, even when I got into it, I was just like, it's like me clicking the next page button, be like, will it make sense if I just keep reading? I read it all the way to the very end. It did not.
that
But it was like
that's cool.
it's just a fun and silly read, if anything, you know? It's just a fun time. And it's like one of those things where it's like because it's so like nonsensical and silly, it's more like it's like I mean partly like because the comic itself, but also it's just like because the fandom was like so big at the time and all that creative energy, it's really what like drove it more so.
Hmm. So like besides Homestuck, was there any other media that you were a fan of?
I well, I was about to say like I'm like a pretty one note guy. I'm like I like one thing only. Like ladies, consistency. But I think like one other thing that I was like pretty big into, but probably not as much as like other fandoms is like I was really into like Steven Universe, but I felt like I'm like a very casual fan these days.
Yeah, I remember I stopped. I was really into it like in high school, but then like I kind of fell off, or it fell
Hmm.
off, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
I
like,
watched the entirety of like the season, but then I was just like, I think like because like I don't know, I feel like getting into fandoms these days, I'm just like, oh, I'm just here to like chill. I'm here to just like watch the stuff.
nothing
Still a
too
cool show.
intense.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I know. Oh my god, like people were intense. Like all these high school kids are getting into fights, doxing each other over
It's
a
oh wait,
cartoon.
actually, no, I know what you mean. I was like,
Yeah,
for a brief second, I lived in a world where there was no discourse.
there was peace. Would you think that covered like the like when you decided to pursue it or like pursue it professionally, or do you think you could answer that in like a differently entirely?
Okay. When I say or okay, because I know you were sort of thinking that like oh like Steve Mears was probably one of the big things as well that probably like got a lot of like young artists like interested in storyboarding as well. I think if anything like it probably wasn't just like oh Steve Universe like is the job I want to get or something like that. But I definitely think it opened up a lot more insights of like storyboarding because it was one of the big booming fandoms back in the day. And also it's one of those shows that were very open about like sharing their behind the scenes, you know what I mean? I'm trying to remember like other shows that did that, probably like Gravity Falls or something. Because like I think like especially because it was so big and like all these young artists to see like the Crooniverse Tumblr
Oh
that was
yeah.
like around where they would share like all their storyboards, their concept art, and their like character sheets and whatnot. I feel like it just brought a lot of like insight to like the young artists being like, oh, like I could do this sort of things too. Or it's like, oh, like I'm understanding a little bit more about like the animation industry. You know what I mean? I guess it's like not like super defined in a way though, but it's just like giving them the idea that like this is a thing that they can do, you know what I mean? Like it reveals the artists behind like the show a lot more. Cuz like you ever watch like shows back then like I don't know, say like Danny Phantom or something like that, but like as a kid you're just like, oh cool, there's a ghost kid on TV, but then like you aren't thinking so much of like the artists behind it, you know?
Oh no, 100%, dude. Like at one point while I was a kid, I was like, oh. they come out every week. It must take like around a week to make these cartoons, right?
Oh man. Wow. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it turns out that was completely wrong. It takes a very long time to make an episode for an animated series, actually.
Yeah, I wish some people would realize that like as soon as like that episode is probably broadcasting on air, like and then people are like it's like, did they do this because of like thing that happened like last week? It's like, no man, like these episodes were made like probably 1, 2 years ago, way before that
Very,
even
yep.
happened.
It's just coincidence, which is why they make all these boomer jokes. Okay.
Oh, because it's like, why did they talk about this meme that happened like so long ago? It's like, oh, it was
Yeah.
funny at the time.
Why are they dabbing? What's going on here?
Dabbing. I
Yeah.
remember when dabbing was a thing.
Okay. So, moving on, let's go back, like take a step back into,
Mhm.
forgive me, but we're gonna go back into your high school years.
Oh no.
Back,
Ah!
yeah, yeah, back when you were applying for college. What were your like top choices for art school?
I'm not gonna lie. When I was in high school, I did not know a lot about like colleges in general. Um, like like I think at the time I didn't even know I was gonna go to like an arts college or like applying for art specifically because like it was definitely during that time where it's just like I remember there was a brief moment where I was just like panicking about like it's like, oh man, do I gotta go to like one of those like fancy colleges like I don't know, Princeton.
Princeton? What the hell?
Literally, I didn't know anything about like if I was gonna go into art or something like that. I'm just thinking of like what is a fancy college like UCI? I don't know. And I'm
Bruh,
like
bruh, say UCI.
and I'm just like it's like I need my mom to be like proud of me or something like that. And like it's like a little Asian kid be like I gotta become like a doctor or something. I don't know. Um, and then like because like I think like I just remember doing my senior. I think it was really funny because I remember everyone would always say that like, "Oh, your senior year of high school is gonna be like your most chill year because it's like you got like you put like your easiest classes for last, or it's like I think you have like 1, 2 classes less." But for me, I was just like, "Oh man, I don't have impressive classes. I'm gonna take like 3 AP classes at once." And then
What a
that
trap. Jesus.
you're not supposed to do that because my friends always say like you're supposed to ease into taking like AP classes. I took 3 at once and I didn't do very great in them. But anyways, aside from that, um, when I was trying to decide for like an actual college, I think what actually happened during the application process was that I think I remember very clearly is that like there was like a fee waiver kind of form or something. It's like, oh, if your family makes like this amount of money, like it'll waive this much amount. And like apparently my family was like in that middle ground where it's just like it's like we made like just enough, but also like we're still too poor. We can't apply to like many colleges. So I only applied to like just one. And that one was CSUF. And the funny thing is that like when I applied to CSUF, it's literally like I thought if anything else, like art is my strong suit. I literally just went up to like my art teacher and being like, what's like a cheap local like art school I can go to that's not like Cal Arts because I know that'll break my bank.
Oh
And
yeah.
then she was like, I'm like, I heard CSUF was pretty good. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go there. And honestly, the time that I went and the year that I applied, I'm very glad that I did.
So like, when did you like 2016?
When did I finally become a student? I
Yeah,
think 2015 is
15. Okay.
when I think I don't remember if it was like in the spring or the fall, but like definitely in 2015.
Okay, so you applied for Cal State Fullerton. Was there, after your teacher had told you that, did you find anything appealing about the program, or did you do any more research, or did you just kind of like just go off their word?
I I feel like this sounds like really bad, but I literally just went off there where it's like I trust my art teacher. I'll just go to CSUF because it's cheap. And honestly, I'm like not mad that I went to CSUF though at the time that I did because it is a very cheap school. Like literally financial aid FAFSA like paid like my entire tuition. Except like maybe like the last semester because like I was like kind of slowly taking my classes, so I only paid for like the last semester, but it's like that's like way better than whatever student debt I could possibly be in right now.
That is true. I mean, public universities, like especially in the CSU system, are very cheap compared to
Mhm.
other private institutions. And
Mhm.
another thing that I'm a big advocate of is going from community college for like the first 2 years and then going to a
Mhm.
public institution.
Ooh.
So, to anybody listening, any high school students thinking about college, Kim brought up a really good point about fee waivers for applications,
Mhm.
because I know it could cost up to what, like $80, $70 just to apply to a school,
Yeah,
and that's
and
kind
I
of
think
nuts.
that's so crazy to me because it's like if you like get declined, it's like, well, there goes my $80. Why am I sending $80 just to get rejected?
Yeah, for real. But moving on to talk more about Fullerton, what did you, when you did get there, what did you find like appealing about it?
What I found really appealing about like Bulletin was, I guess, like the atmosphere of it. I don't know if this is like a Fullerton specific or just like a college like specific kind of experience where it's just like it was just very casual and friendly in a way. And I think like what was really nice, especially because I applied to like the art animation program, is that because when I was in high school, I was literally like the only art kid that I knew of that like really wanted to take art like really seriously. Like a lot of my friends like, oh, they like to like doodle some anime here and there, which is like totally fine. It was like fun, but it's like
Valid.
I like I loved like art. I wanted to get more into art, like more than just like doodling, you know what I mean? The thing is like I feel like my friends weren't into it like that much that I felt like I never could really talk about art out loud. So when I finally went to Fullerton as like an art student and was like meeting all sorts of like other art students and stuff like that, I was just like, holy shit, this is like so liberating. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if this is like a CUS specific thing, but I feel like if anything, it's really nice to put yourself in a community where like other people really like the thing that you like, you know what I mean? Because it motivates you so much more. That was the big thing about like going to CSUF or just like being an art student surrounded by other art students is like it's sort of like everyone's each other's like hype man, you know what I mean?
Oh no, 100%. And that kind of answers some of the questions I had planned, which was
hmm
like, like if you had felt like you fit in or like if you felt isolated from the university.
Um, definitely not. If anything, I don't know. CSUF was like we're all just like a bunch of like little weirdos. I feel like. If anything, about CUSOF specifically, at least for the first few or couple of years that I joined, I think this might have affected the atmosphere or set the mood of the atmosphere for some of the art students. Then is that like I think when I joined in 2015, they did not have a portfolio submission you'd need to submit in order to become an art student, which I thought was like a little weird, but like interesting. I was like, okay, I guess I don't need to submit a portfolio. But I think like because like anyone could apply to be an art student and anyone could like easily transfer to be an into the art program. There was no like how do I put it? Like high, like extremely like high standard. You know what I mean? Because like everyone just sort of came in at like different levels. You know? Because I definitely feel like when I think about it, because I hear I have a lot of friends who also went to like Cal Arts, and like everyone always talks about like what an intense like portfolio like acceptance rate that they have, and it's always like really like competitive that like when they go to Cal Arts, they always feel like really nervous or like they feel like that they have to compete with the other artists there because it's like oh everyone here is like top dog or something like that. I don't know. So it's like I feel like at CSUF since like there's kind of like an understanding like in the air that like everyone here is just at different levels that like everyone was just really open to like helping each other improve. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially for like a public school, I think that's very important to have like kind of that
Mm-hmm.
welcoming feeling, because you are right. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are coming like from all over at differing levels,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of also brings into this other question that I wanted to ask was the if Fullerton had offered a BA system, like a BA BFA degree offering.
I think so. Yes. I think I just got the regular EA.
Oh, so you graduated with a BA.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cuz like I know it's different for each CSU. Like for Long Beach, you
Mhm.
start off as a BA and then you apply for the BFA and then you get an extra year at school.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I think I think if I'm remembering it correctly, because like, I just did, like excuse if I don't know the correct there's, like, I just got the basic one.
I just got the regular
Um,
meal plan. I didn't
yeah, yeah, because I know some people where it's like, "Oh, yeah, like, I stayed, like, longer so I could, like, try, um, like, double majoring or something like that." It's like, "Oh, I just did animation, that's it." Got the basic degree. I mean, it's like
I just showed up and drew. I don't know what I got.
yeah, literally. I mean, because it's like, if anything, like, I think it's nice that people who are, like, double majoring, especially for, like, in animation, because it's just, like, they wanted to expand they wanna be more well-rounded, you know what I mean? Like, oh, they wanted to get more into, like, the theater side just to, like, learn a little bit more of, like, that kinda craft or whatnot, or just, like I think what's actually kind of nice about, like, CUF actually, because it's like, I think about the fact that like my friend when he went to like Cal Arts, he told me that, like, oh, they don't really have any other like GEs. Like literally, it's just like all art and stuff. But like at CSUF, since it's like GEs are like required, and you have to like take classes for like like a little bit of touch of like everything else. It's like, oh, you gotta do like science and like math and other stuff. I kind of like that, to be honest. It made me feel a little bit more well-rounded as like a person, and also because it's like it it's like it was kind of nice to have like a separate class that was like not thinking about art, just so I can like no, just get a little break from the brain and just be like, oh shit, like this is also really interesting. Like I don't know, a class on critical thinking, or like oh this science class about like uh I don't know geology or whatever. I'm just like wow, now I know more things.
Yeah,
I know
no,
some
I
people might
yeah.
be like, hmm?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I never really thought about that, but I definitely feel like going to a like a public school system like that or like the CSU and having to take
Hmm.
those GAs definitely like enriched myself as a person. And like, you know, I don't
Hmm.
want to be like a snob, be like, "Oh, I'm educated." You know what I mean? It's just like
Oh no, it's just like it just feels fun to like know things, you know?
it does. And no, like even like I hate again, like I don't want to sound like an educated like snob, but I do feel like a better person for like learning about certain things. Like taking a history class or a critical thinking class really puts a lot of stuff into perspective about like stuff that's even going on like today. It's crazy.
Yeah, for real. And I feel like if anything, it's just like I think what's nice about like college too is that like especially for these GEs is that like there's a variety of classes you could pick from, and it's like oh it's like if you pick this class it's something that you've decided that you're like you're interested in, like that's why you paid and signed up for the class. It's like yeah, I want to know a little more about this, like why not.
Yeah. Other times it's all like, God, I really need the credit.
I understand the feel that like I'm not gonna feel it's like oh yes I love learning all the time, but like I know there's definitely some class where I'm just like you are a required class. I'm just trying to live.
Just trying to go.
Yeah. I think what's really funny sometimes is that like whenever I take some of these classes and like because like I was just thinking it's like oh sometimes I am just taking classes as I am going throughout CUCF, and some people will be like it's like oh yeah it's like oh hey like what's your name, like what year are you, and I'll be like man what year am I don't know. I'm
Oh,
literally just coming to CUCF taking my classes and then I leave and then
are you
eventually I
like a
graduate.
senior? I probably. I'm not sure.
No, yeah, literally I just be like I don't know, I've been here for so long. I
Okay,
think in total, I've probably been there for like 5, 6-ish years.
yeah, that's not too bad.
Oh, wait, is it 5, 6? Probably like 5 years.
Five, yeah, again, it's not too bad.
Hmm.
But another thing that I wanted to touch about on Fullerton was kind of the social scene. Did you feel
Hmm.
that going to Cal State Fullerton like was making friends easy, kind of hard, where people closed off, or like they had like little friend groups and stuff like that?
I think it really depends if you go out of your way to go to the social scenes kind of thing, or at least like if you're participant if you're participating in class or not. Because it's like I know some people can get like pretty shy and stuff, but I think like for me, um, definitely what during my first year in 2015, especially PMC, Pencil Mileage Club at CSUF was like one of the biggest like saving grace factors of CSUF for me, in the fact that like every single year every single year PMC would host this draw social like speed draw thing at the beginning of the year for all their new or interested members, where basically like um it's sort of like a speed dating thing, but it's more like, oh, you meet like the person and
Speed
it's like you
dating.
draw. It's like because we're all like rotating around like this table, and like you draw the person in front of you, you talk like a little bit, and you like and they'll have like a quick prompt. It's like, quick, draw the person in front of you as like a Power Ranger, and then like you got like 1 minute to do it, and then like after that minute's over, you get like a 5 minutes just to like hang out a little bit and talk. And after that, it's like, all right, move, and then like just like slowly meeting everyone in there, and like it's like it can be a little chaotic, but it's kind of fun that way. But in my first year when I did that, like that's when I met like my like solid group of friends that would have lasted me throughout the rest of my time at CSUF. And they're like, and I feel like it might have also just been like time and place that that I'm just like pretty grateful for, that like cuz the friends that I met there, they're like super hype about like art. They love talking about art. Like everyone's my friend group's like everyone's here is just trying to like support each other, trying to be each other's like hype man, always trying to see like how we can all improve together and stuff like that. Like like no bad feelings about like art, you know what I mean? It's just all about like hyping each other, you know? And I feel like once again, I repeat that like finding a like solid support group of other people who are really like um the thing that you're interested in, and also just like wanting to see each other improve or just like hyping up each other up for like the next project is like such an essential thing, especially for art. And I'm so glad that I found that friend group in the first couple of years. I do feel like maybe over the years at CC, I think it might simply depend for who's like running the club at the time, because like obviously like as the years go on, like the presidents are gonna like graduate and stuff like that. So the rearrangement of the might change a little bit. That like how or yeah, it's like not even just like who's running it, but also like the members of that year as well might also simply depend like it's always time and place. If like the right people and artists can that you'll meet will be like to make friends with, I'd say like in class, everyone's generally pretty friendly. I feel like what always like is like easy to make friends in like class is like I feel like I don't know, art is always like such a especially for animation, it's like such a silly thing to be
Just a
into,
silly thing.
because it's like I don't know, it's like we're all here because we like cartoons. It's like it doesn't like I feel like we're so much more open to like being like a little goofy, that I feel like if you just talk a lot in like class and stuff, it's like to the teacher or like to the other students and stuff like that, like everyone just like gets really comfortable with each other like really easily. That I think it's really easy to make friends, but obviously, it's like, sometimes people can just be like real shy. That like I could understand why some people might be like the more quiet ones. Especially because I do feel like artists in general, though, it's like because I'm gonna admit that like art is kind of like an introverted hobby. So like I could see like how a lot of animators can be like a little shy, you know?
No, that's fair. I mean, you know, it happens. It's I don't blame them for being shy though, because like
Mm-hmm.
sharing art's very intimate and personal. Because like most of the
Yeah.
time it's a reflection of yourself in a way, because
Oh yeah,
you gave
hundred
it time
percent.
and effort to make something, and you want to show your friends. And like, oh my god, what if they don't like it, bro? Then they don't like me, bro. That
Oh
type
my
of thing.
god, yeah. Like, I totally understand how it happened, but it's like, it's just like, just have fun, you know?
Yeah, yeah. We're all here for we're all like you said, we're all here because we like cartoons. Like it's not that
Mhm.
serious.
Yeah, and if anything, it's like, we're all here to improve as well, you know? We're all in school because it's like, we're all here to learn something.
All right, 100%. So
Mhm.
another thing I want to like quickly touch back on is the pencil mileage club. Were you a
Ooh.
member of that club for your entire time over there?
I would say I think, like, for the majority of my years, yes. Maybe the last couple of years, I didn't, sign up to be a member. Mostly because, like, I just got, like, really busy, so I couldn't attend that much events anymore because I was just like it's like, "Oh, I'm working on films and stuff." Um, but definitely, like, I really liked being a part of, like, Pencil Mileage Club and all the things that they had to offer because it's like I really like going to the draw socials. I really liked going to the I think they still do this, but they had, like, these, like, weekly, like, life drawing sessions, and if you're a member of the Pencil Mileage Club, it's free to attend, but if you're not a member, you pay, like, 5 bucks or, like, 2 5 bucks, something like that. And I'm just saying
Oof.
that's, like, a hell of a steal, though, because it's like I've heard from some people, life drawing and, like, going to attend it is, like, 20 or, like, 40 bucks or something. I'm like, "That's insane." Like, I'm so glad this resource is here from, like, Pencil Mileage Club. And also because of, like, if you're a member, you can also attend these, like, industry speaker events that they host, like, every other week, I believe. And then, like, oh, you can also, like, there's also sometimes, like, these studio tours that they occasionally do, which I also think is, like, super insightful, which is what I really like about, like, the Pencil Mileage Club, is that, like, it's not just, like, an art club, it's just like, "Oh, everyone's just here to, like, share art and stuff," but, like, it's also about, like, how to break into the industry or giving you insights about the industry. Because I feel like I remember very distinctly, like, I went on, like, a studio tour. I think it was probably to, like, a Nickelodeon, studio tour, and just, suddenly feeling everything, like, click in my head and be like it's like, "Oh, now I know what I really want to do with my art." It's like, even though I was, like, obviously going into, like, the animation program, it's like, I feel like going to these events, going to, like, these studio tours, I just felt like I really understood, like, the course of where my career was going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds really cool actually. Like, so you guys did like
Mhm.
studio tours and like had guest speakers.
Mhm.
Wow.
Oh, I totally forgot to mention too, not even just being a member, but, like, I think for a whole year, I was also, an advertiser for the PMC just because I felt like I had so much gratitude for PMC because it's like, it introduced me to, like, my solid friend group. It, like, enlightened me about so much about, like, the animation industry and stuff like that and, like, provided all these, like, super neat resources. I was just like, "You know what? I'll give back to PMC and, like, I want to be a part of it," you know? Like, even if it's just like being an advertiser, it's just making, like, promotional material for the club and stuff like that. It's like it felt nice to, like, give back to a club that did a lot for me, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, this that's kind of like that's a really good thing to hear about it because like it just shows like how much gratitude you have for this like the
Mhm.
opportunities that this club has given you. So, it sounds pretty obvious, but would you recommend incoming freshmen to Fullerton to join this club?
To join this club, yes, because I feel like PMC, it is literally the backbone of the animation department. I mean, in the sense, or rather, it just like it adds so much more to like your your experience there as an animation student, especially if you want to learn more. Because it's like the professors, they already like care so much about like the students wanting to the professors care so much about wanting to break the students into the industry as well, but I feel like PMC like adds so much on top of it, just enlightening so much more that I really recommend PMC to incoming students to CSUF because like it really adds so much more to your experience as an animation student. And it's like not just because it's like the teachers don't provide it because the teachers also the professors like care so much about wanting to break the animation students into the animation industry as well. And I feel like Pencil Manage Club just like it adds so much more on top of like the information that they give you because like the professors they can only like tell you so much, but then like PMC like it gives you all these experiences and resources as well.
So it's a definite join.
Yeah, definitely, please. It's like if you don't join, like, oh my god, you're missing out.
You're missing out, dude.
Hmm.
Okay, so going back to just like kind of the social scene there, just really quickly. Like, what is there to do in Fullerton?
What is there to do in Fullerton? Uh,
This is for okay. I gotta. You commuted majority, right? Yeah. Okay. That.
Because yeah, it was like a 20-30 minute drive like every day. And like it's not that bad. Usually, oh, I will say, if anything, to commute to Fullerton, the parking is always hell if you go anytime past 9 a.m.
Damn. What? I mean, that's kind of true for like. Damn. Yeah. Actually, true.
The parking is like hella packed, especially because like next to the art department there is the Nutwood parking structure, and it's like right next to it. So if you want to arrive to your class on time, you want to park in the Nutwood parking structure, and it's like if you get there anytime past 9 a.m. or like 10 a.m. something like that, like the whole building is already gonna be like filled, and like you're probably gonna have to wait around like 30 minutes if you want to find like another parking or something like that. Like, oh my god, I'm getting like flashbacks to like having to like stalk around like the whole like structure trying to see like, are you going? Are you leaving? Can I take your spot? Hello? Because like if you really wanted to find like a parking spot that wasn't there, you'd probably have to park in this like far lot that's like on the other side of the campus that's like past like the football fields, which is already like a if you park there, you'd have to take like a 15-20 minute walk if you want to get to the art department. So
Okay.
I'm just
I was
like,
I was
that's
gonna
fine.
ask it everything. I was gonna ask like, oh well, what's the distance in like proximity to the art building? And like you said,
It's
15,
so
20.
fucking far.
Damn.
That's why I'd like for the advice, if anyone is thinking of going to CSUF, try to arrive before 7-8 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. Try to. I know your class is at 2, bro, but just show up at 7, bro. Come on,
Do
trust
you
me.
want a parking? Oh, if anything, if you do have a later class, I think it might be a hit or miss if you arrive around the afternoon, because I feel like if you um keep track of when like because like you know how there's like a certain pattern, it's like, oh, classes end at like 11:45. I feel like if you arrive around like the leaving times, you could see like a bunch of students leaving at once. So then like you'd be like, oh shit, it's like I can nab one right now. You just got to come in during like the right times, because like once that like little like period of like people like leaving is like done, it's gonna be filled up again, you know what I mean? And you have to wait like another hour. It's like there's a whole system to this.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, as with all universities, parking is atrocious.
Oh, I will say, cause like, okay, I will say that parking is like one of the most annoying things about CSUF. And not just like finding parking, but like the parking pass that students have to like buy every semester. They kept raising the prices like every single semester by like 30 bucks or something like that, because I remember there was like a time when like it only cost like 180 or something like that. And then I remember like maybe during like my last couple of years it was like 380 or something. I was like, this is
380.
ridiculous. Yeah, or maybe 280 or something like that. All I know is that it was way more expensive than when I first bought it. And like that's why I got like really annoyed about like the whole parking pass situation. I don't know if they finally like leveled it out or if they're like pushing their limits to see how much more they can raise it, but that was one of the most annoying things about it.
Yeah, parking's always. Why is parking so hard? It's expensive. It's
Mhm.
hard to find a spot.
I know. If you can find like a nice little nearby parking, that's lucky for you.
Hey, good for you. So, like, what is there to do in Fullerton?
I will be honest that like I did not really like walk around Fullerton too much. Um, Mostly because I was just like, it's like, well, I'm here for school and then I leave. I mean, like I'll hang out with my friends, of course, obviously, like after school. But like, I think I mostly just went to like food joints and stuff. Like there's lots of really hmm It's like 85 degrees. There's like this one like sushi place, and like there's like some nice like snack bar kind of places nearby too. I think there's like a game arcade, but I never really went in there. But I think like it's like, as a college student, it's like these are like fun hangout places for like you and your homies to go hang out, you know?
Yeah, every now and
Uh,
again. Hmm.
I don't know too much about like activities, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, okay. Nah, because I was just wondering, like, do you feel like Fullerton was a boring city? It's kind of like just like a
Uh,
typical OC
I'm probably
SoCal
not the
city.
best judge of that, if anything, because I was just like, it's like, well, if someone wants to take me somewhere, then they'll take me. I didn't really like go exploring that much.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Hmm.
Okay, for this next portion, I'd like to talk about because of your postgraduate.
Hmm.
So, like, I looked at your resume. Like, so you did freelance for Rooster Teeth, and now you're working for a game company, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was wondering if you feel like Fullerton had adequately prepared you to do those jobs.
I definitely think so. Like, um, the professors and obviously PMC, like I said, give me a bunch of like insight about like how to be prepared for like the industry, and also like more of these collaborative like art jobs. And I think like if anything, it's like when I went into these jobs, um, especially with like indie studios, if anything, sometimes I might even say like I felt like over prepared, but not in a bad way, but more it's more like it's like, oh, like I really got my shit together. You know what I mean? Like I kept myself like organized. That was really nice to keep myself on track of stuff. Um I'd say for like stuff for when I did stuff for like Rooster Teeth, that's like a bit more bigger company than the indie game company that I worked for. Um I'd say it really did like get me in the right mindset for it. Um, but if anything, you do really learn a lot more on the job though. Not that like there's like stuff that like your professors aren't telling you or something like that, but really the hands-on experience, you really learn l- like like the whole course of it all, you know, the pipeline, you know what I mean? Because I feel like I especially think like it will vary from studio to studio as well. Like not one studio is going to be the same on like how they work or like how their director wants you to like do this and that or expect you to prepare, because I can imagine like I don't know, some studios are more lax, some studios might be more strict, etc., etc. But I definitely think that like um I felt pretty prepared going into these jobs. You know what I mean?
That's good. And you feel that the classes you took and the clubs that you participated at Fullerton kind of helped you do that?
Oh yeah, 100%. I definitely think like one of the biggest factors as well that really prepared me for these for this job is like it's interesting because this is not a required class at Fullerton, but I feel like it really should be, but it's called group projects. But essentially it's like um what you could do in it, it's either you make a group film or you or like make like a small game or something like that with like a bunch of like other group of like students. And I think like because like the overall program for when you're like making a film and stuff like that, it's like it's generally solo. So it's just like oh, it's like you just learning how to animate, you just learning like part of the pipeline yourself. But I feel like an important part of the industry is like learning how to collaborate with others or working with others or like even like managing with others. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's very essential. And I feel like this group projects class really help me understand and like organize how to collaborate with others in a sense that like because I was actually like the creative director on my group projects film, and like it really helped being able to be like it's like all right, I gotta like organize these stuff and have this stuff be like easily accessible to other group members and stuff like that, because it's like you really realize that like when a bunch of people are going to be collaborating on one thing, you want it to be easy for everyone to like get their resource and stuff, you know what I mean? It's like oh, where's the background or where's the shot for like this like scene or something like that. And the thing is like you want your whole like setup to be as easy as navigatable as possible. You want to be super communicative with your entire team. You want to work like at least like ahead of schedule and stuff. So like everyone's not gonna be like stumbling over each other trying to like push like deadlines or like or even just keeping track of progress, like either of the overall project or being like, it's like, oh hey, like how's like this part going? Is it going good? It's like, okay, cool. Because like it just makes you realize like how much you have to manage and how much you want to be organized. You know what I mean? Because it's like when this stuff is being like passed around to in the pipeline or like to other people, you want it to be like really clear and concise. You know?
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, that is a very common theme that everyone else has said is like, oh, I wish that I had more opportunities to work with others because it's a very soft skill to be able to collaborate efficiently and effectively.
Oh,
And
100%. And
yeah.
especially like when you're working in the industry, it's like, I don't know, it's all about like the collaboration part. And I feel like that's pretty important. I actually honestly wish, because I only did that group project class for one semester or like just one time that we did that. I kind of wish we did it like two times, like do another project, because it's sort of like oh, get like a trial run. It's like, and then because like first time you do it, we're like stumbling a little bit, being like it's like oh, oh, okay, we get it now, we get it now. It's like, but I feel like the second time around we could do it even more confidently and make something good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like, you just want to do it again, but armed with the skills and knowledge that you have now, and you want to make it even better than
Yeah,
before.
I think it's a very good skill to have.
Yeah. So learn to collaborate, listener. Do it. Okay, so for my kind of final question, would you recommend Cal State Fullerton, and do you think like pound for pound, dollar for dollar, like it was a very good education?
I feel like at the time I applied, it was a very good school, at the time that I applied, because a lot of the professors that were there during those handful of years from 2015 and onward, they cared very much about the craft. They cared very much about the students, and they cared very much about like they wanted you to be prepared for the future and being getting into the industry and stuff like that. Like they wanted to see you get a job. And especially because like I talked about this earlier about how CSUF is like really cheap, and that's like so nice because it's like you can come out of like CSUF without having like a fucking student debt. But I feel like at this point it might be a, how would you say it, like a you get what you pay for kind of thing, because like even though that it's really cheap, one of its downfalls is that their classes are super limited. Like, say there is a required class that you need to get into to graduate, but literally there's only one available and there's only 24 spots to get in, and you have over 100 students trying to get in. And that's like nearly impossible to like get in. Like, you literally have to like fight other students every semester in order to get that spot. It's like, because if you don't get it, it's nearly, I don't know, graduating is going to take like 5 million years. And it's not even just because of like just one class, it's like several classes. There's probably only like one or two classes available. um and it's so hard because the classes are so impacted. um and I feel like people always bring this up, like please hire like more professors so that we can like have more classes, so not everyone's trying to cram into these two classes. And the thing is like I feel like um the I don't know what to call it, but like the upper management of the art department, for some reason, like they don't like the animation department for some reason. um like they're like really big on like the fine arts program, but for some reason they don't want to support the animation department. um so like they always treat like the animation department as like very like as an afterthought. So when a bunch of students like start complaining, it's like we need more of these classes. um the thing is though is that like uh the professors who do care, they'll hear us out and be like, they'll hand off like a list of names to like the upper management of the art department, being all, it's like, here's some good professors we recommend to like hire. But then like they'll like completely like ignore it, and they'll just hire like I don't know how else to explain it, but like these like part-time professors that like don't know a lot about the craft, or either like, um, how do I explain it? Is like, or either that they're just not like very good like professors. As in like even if they're like talent maybe good, they're not good teachers. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
like
no,
teaching
no,
is
I get it,
a
I get
skill
it.
set on its own, you know? And they just wouldn't really be very good at it. And it was always frustrating because especially because it's like when like the good professors have already been taken up by like all these students are getting, and like these other students who are trying to like graduate in time, like pop up like these like extraneous classes that finally, because like it'll be like the update is like it's like, oh wait, we opened another class for this one thing that everyone's trying to get into, but it's with this like kind of shady professor. um like everyone like these students will end up with this professor and then end up like, I don't know how else to like put it, but in like in the bluntest of ways, it kind of ends up being like a waste of money because like these professors like they wouldn't like, they don't know a lot about the animation industry, or like they're like struggling so hard of like teaching the students, or like or like I don't know, kind of like making like bad morale within the students as well. I'm just like, this like sucks. Like the idea that like someone would come into these classes like I don't know, maybe like an intro to animation class, but also like this animation professor is like being all like it's like, oh, if you make a mistake, like someone in they're gonna find out who did this, and they're gonna come after you, and they're gonna fire you, something like that. It's like, why would you say this to
Oh
in
my
an intro
gosh.
to animation like class? You know what I mean? Like, not that like all the bad professors did that, but that was just like one memory that I have of like one professor that was just like, they were not a good professor. That I was just like these people are like, they're crazy. I'm like, why did you hire this person? And like it hurts me to think that like someone who's new into animation might come into this class thinking like, oh, animation might be like something interesting that I want to learn about, and then coming out of it just feeling like bad about animation because of like they had a bad professor, you know what I mean? And I'm like, that sucks. Because I feel like there's so much to enjoy about the craft, but literally, like teachers really do set the vibe. Whether, like I don't know, a student will enjoy something, like not even just like I don't know, animation, like history or whatever. It's like I personally don't like history, but if you have a good history teacher who makes it fun, it could be a good class for you. You know?
Oh yeah, 100%. I like the professor is honestly the professor is like half the class essentially because you see him every
Yeah.
day, like you deal with him every day, and they could really like we've all like anybody who's gone to college has that one professor that they really love and like that one memorable professor, whether that be good or bad. They do
Hmm.
have a memorable professor that they always like keep in memory.
Hmm. Hmm. Which is why it's like it I think it's like it sucks that it's like some people might waste their money if they might end up with like a bad professor, if they end up going to like, if they go to CSUF, seeing all these impacted classes and end up being with like this like last minute hired professor. And it's like the thing is like it won't always be the case. Because like these are just like part-time professors, like they'll like come and go. But it's like because like when you sign up, there's always like the I'll call 'em, like, the main classes where it's just like, "Oh, you get it with this good professor," and then, like, eventually a couple weeks down the line, they'll be like, "3rd class for this," the required class, like, shows up, but it says, like, with unknown professor. I guess because it's, like, they're not an official roster professor, so it's just kind of, like, unknown name. And it always feels like a gamble if you're gonna get like a good professor or not. And that's what I mean. It's like it's kind of, you get what you pay for, where it's just like if you can manage to get with all the good professors, then it will be a good school to go to. But if you happen to get like really bad luck and just can't get with the good professors, and you can't keep ending up with like these like, I don't know, shady professors, or who are just like not teaching it well and stuff like that. It's like it'll be, ugh, it's gonna be a rough time.
Yeah, and again, that's it's super unfortunate because it's kind of like luck based unless there's like a registration priority system within Fullerton.
Yeah,
I'm not aware of
and I feel
any.
like we shouldn't have to gotcha for classes.
Gotcha. Okay, so at the end of the day, your final thoughts, your advice to anybody considering Fullerton, and anything else that you wanted to end off with?
I feel like Fullerton is very much like as I said earlier, it's very much like if you really want to save the money for a good art school, I'd say that like if you want to test your chances, test your luck with Fullerton, it might be nice if you do get all the good professors. Um Oh, that does remind me. I will say though that like over the years though, because of like the upper management has been really hard on like the animation department, a lot of the good professors have been like quitting over the years because they don't like the treatment they've been getting. So I don't know how many good professors are left. So maybe the recommendation might be like don't go to CSUF.
Uh-oh.
During like in these because the thing is like I'm not there anymore, so I don't know like how much more longer like the good professors are willing to stay, and especially for like I don't know the next 5 years, if you do end up enrolling. Um, because I definitely think that's like it's definitely going to be very luck based at this point, and I do think if you're not going for like a degree kind of thing, but you just do want to get like a cheap um good, solid, like, art education, there's all sorts of things that like, especially in this day and age, like what, like Brainstorm and stuff like that, or it's just like you can access all these like art programs online for only like varying which one you go to. Some could be like 75 bucks, some could be like around 300 bucks or something like that. And I feel like that's so much cheaper than I don't know, even going to CSUF or like the tuition was like maybe like 10K per semester or a year or something like that. This is also just like a super cheap alternative if you just wanted to learn about art. And I feel like for the industry, it's like it's not about like whether you have a degree or not. It's about like you show your skill in your work. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like not that it's like, "Oh, like, don't go to college," or something like that, but it's like, if you want a good art education, there's also, like, so many other alternatives as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like Brainstorm and Schoolism are other like third party options, and I know they're becoming more and more popular as people are
Mhm.
talking about like how you don't really need a college education to get into the industry. And again,
Mhm.
like you said, it's more reflective on your own personal skill.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I gotta say, very good interview, and
Mhm.
we're gonna end it off at that actually. So to those
Hell
listening,
yeah.
thank you so much for listening again, and I'd like to thank Kim for hopping on and giving us his time.
No problem. I feel like, I don't know, there was just, like, a lot I wanted to say about CSUF. It's like, has its ups and downs, let's just say that.
Yeah, and I hope you got like whatever you needed to say off your chest, or like
Mhm.
or like just some way to express it. But again, so thanks for listening. Thank you, Kim, and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.
Hell yeah.
Okay, now you say bye.
Oh, shit. Bye.
There you go.